Hello, everyone. Happy Monday night. Hope everyone's having a great evening. Gonna go through some odds and ends. In the background there, we have Oscar Brand.
I'm a woman whose life is trial and a curse.
Doing an album for doctors only. Oscar Brand is kind of did a lot of albums with folk collections over the years. Always kind of folky, but we will get to him in a little bit here. Anyway, got a few odds and ends. Let's go through a few. This one I always thought was just a disturbing album cover for some reason. Mike Douglas, The Men in My Little Girl's Life. I'm not sure what Mike Douglas was up to, but and those a lot of my friends will remember he was a gentleman with a talk show for years. Always thought he was a little odd, but he did what he did and did it well. But yes, he has a nice version of The Men in My Little Girl's Life. And let's see, talk a little bit about this one. It's one of my favorite memories as a child. I remember seeing them all the time, or hearing this on one of the radio stations quite a bit. And always did enjoy Chicken Man. He was an odd little radio program. I think it only was on for a season, but this was the album that went with it. Probably for younger people, it's probably a really slow sounding thing, but it is what it is. But it's a fun radio drama and made fun of the old 40s and 30s radio superheroes. Yeah. And this album is a nice 12-inch. It was always floating around my grandparents' house. And I've found a couple copies since then. But Jack LaLanne, remember watching him every morning before I went to school when I was younger, and doing exercises with the family. This is the Glamour Stretch Time. I think he sold a whole lot of these. Had exercises to go with it. It's not too different from today. Even has your personal booklet for training. So now that we're stuck inside, we could all go back to the old school little booklet of training. And I'm not sure I would test it, but when we were cleaning out my grandmother's house, the band was still floating. So we have the exercise band, but I'm not sure I would stretch it. It's probably dry rotted. This was probably bought in, at best, the 60s. All right. Moving on here. I got a bunch of a couple of quirky things here. Let's see. First, we'll do one of this gentleman's, and he had quite a career. Rod McEwen. If you Google him, you can see some TV appearances, and actually had some hits. It was kind of a squirrely thing. He was kind of a talk singer guy with background music. Did a lot of poetry, and it's made Shatner seem like had quite a tone. I always found it disturbing to listen to him. It was overly dramatic and very syrupy. But this is one of his albums, composed by Anita Kerr, written by Rod McEwen. The Sea, with the subtitle, "We Made Love and Only the Sea Was Watching." Again, it's kind of a quirky little thing there. And then tonight, the main thing I was going to show a few of here is Doctors on Vinyl. The first one I have is RX Sounds for Sick People. And a lot of these were made in the 60s. Apparently this gentleman was a dentist and decided he needed to record kind of a wacky, jazzy pop album of songs. Unfortunately, I went to play this tonight, and so I'm going to have to find a new copy because I had not played it, but I bought it at Goodwill, and that puppy has a nice warp. It is never going to play nicely on a record, but the cover's nice, so now I have something to search for when I'm out about. Because Cindy's always happy when I bring more vinyl home. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Singing Doctors. And they're, and this even has the postcard. Singing Doctors on stage. They were a 60s group. I think they did a lot of kind of parody songs, made fun of other people's music a lot. But they were definitely kind of, and it was based on a scholarship foundation. The Greene County, that's right, they're a Missouri thing. So they did at least 3 albums that's on stage. Thanks for the Miseries. And this is actually a sealed copy. I'm pretty proud of that. And again, Greene County, Missouri Doctors, and Doctors Keeping You in Stitches. Because the world needs more songs featuring 4 suppositories and LaCruz Lockhart, presented by the Greene County Medical Association Scholarship Fund. So there you go. But they were all legitimate MDs cranking out the albums for a while. And and actually here is there was a postcard, so you can order more today. It appears they had 4 full-length albums out. And if ordering after December 5th, add $1.15 for airmail. And sometime when I get to the CDs, I look for it, did not find this evening, but I do have a Jack Kevorkian album. He felt the need to write some classical music, and I have that out there too. And then we'll go look at this Oscar Brand. Oscar Brand, I actually pulled it out just for my nerd friends out there. Apparently, someone who owned this Oscar Brand also had a Blue Oyster Cult album, because that's the insert. Doctors Only Oscar Brand. He is. Put a little bit in the background there. He was a folk singer, performer, and he was a proponent of folk music big time, and he would spend a lot of time promoting. And he's got all kinds of different collections. I've got 5 or 6 of them. I'll have to put them all together sometime and we'll talk about them. But he was definitely one who kind of a Pete Seeger type guy, but not as controversial. And that was the main albums I have. I can throw up a couple more from the other night that did not go so well. So grab a couple of those real quick. We'll do a couple more exercise albums here. Paul Fogarty, again, famous 40 exercises. So apparently he put his wife on there and said, you can do all 40 of these exercises every day. We will be in good health once we can start getting outside again. Let's see, effortless exercise. It's a very 70s. I like the mod looking thing here, and has some nice artwork there. Again, very 70s, almost the Beatles Yellow Submarine art there going on. And that's about all I have. Again, I actually didn't have a whole lot tonight, but I'm working on something a little more organized for tomorrow, and we'll have that out there for you. If there's something you'd like me to pull up or pull out and talk about, I'm happy to do that. I'm going to put a link in the comments here. Let's see, paste. And that is to my friend Stephanie, who actually used to be my boss, but she works at the City Museum, and she did a nice video today. And the City Museum, since they're not open right now, is doing a lot of videos trying to help promote and give people something entertaining to look at while they're sitting at home. So if you have time and want to check that out, I'm sure they would appreciate people looking at that as well. Again, to all my doctor friends and people in the medical field where I work, please stay safe and take it easy and try and get through this as best we can. Again, if there's something you want me to pull out, I'm happy to do that and dig out all kinds of stuff. I've got plenty here and we've got time. Everyone stay safe and have a good evening.